Hey toy fans, Kyle here, and today we're going to be taking a look at KyrenOh from Super Sentai Kyuranger. This is, of course, the new main first release mecha of Kyuranger that we have now. And unfortunately, this doesn't represent all the Rangers in the show that we have so far. So this is kind of a crazy season. We have 9 Sentais to start with. And this Zord, or this mecha right here, only represents the odd numbers. So we get Kyutamas and vehicle and actual individual mechas for 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Which are, of course, the Shishi Voyager, the Ukami Voyager, the Usha Voyager, the Chameleon Voyager, and the Kajaki Voyager. Or Voyager, as it says in the Morpher and in the electronics. So we're going to basically go ahead, we're going to look at each one. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's why I'm making this video. Duh, why are you even watching? Silly me. So we're going to start and go backwards. So we're going to start with the smallest ones and end up with Shishi. So, to start, we've got this. This is, of course, this is the Kajaki Kyutama. If you don't know what a Kyutama is, it is basically the roleplay gimmick for the series. And they're essentially little globes, and where the islands, or even the sky, whatever you want to call it, when they're actually twisted around, the islands form, and they complete the image of whatever constellation, or whatever, you know, robot, mecha, vehicle that is. So that's kind of fun. And of course you can put it in the Morpher, and it does that. But this right here is the Kajaki. And each Zord, or each mecha, integrates with its own roleplay gimmick really well. There it is. That is very bright. We can see it's got a lot of really nice detail. I love the fact that it's really heavily leaning towards spaceship. It's not like just a robot. It totally looks like a spaceship with the fin back here. Super nice. You have 2 yellow stripes right there at the top, but you don't get them in the other side, and that's actually something that does happen a lot in this, where there's paint on one side but not the other. It's a little weird, but I guess it kind of takes getting used to. And this can form both an arm and a leg, which is a really cool feature of this mecha. It's kind of like a Scramble City combiner, so the legs can form arms and the arms can form legs. I'll kind of go over that at the end of the review, as well as the sounds that each of these make, I'll do in the Morpher video. So definitely check that out when that comes. And that right there is the completed Zord. I dig it. Next up is the Chameleon, right here. So this one actually integrates a little bit differently in that it kind of sits sideways, just like that. It is, of course, Kyutama number 7. Kind of jumped the gun there, so there is the island design before. And then now that we complete it, we can see he's got his tongue and his tail, and he looks pretty dang cool looking. So here he is. I love the red, almost ruby-like details. He's got the brown paint. The really nice gunmetal gray paint right there that just looks super finely finished. I like that the Kyutama kind of forms his tail a little bit. If you want, you can open his mouth, and he's got a little thing, and he can zap people with it, I guess, or do something. He can do something with it, but it's definitely a feature. And that's basically it for him. He's very simple. Now we've got the bull, and we're going to grab the bull by the horns. Take a look at the Kyutama first, right there. Spin it around, give you a nice little look. And when we form it, it's got this bull head that just looks so menacing and so evil and so cool. This just pegs in right there. You want to make sure the front little 0, 9, or 0, was that 9? That's 5. I'm blind. That faces downwards. And he does have wheels. He can roll. And you can also lift his head up and move his horns, articulate them just a little bit, and rotate his head for the transformation, depending on if you want to switch arms or legs or whatnot. And he does have some really nice white paint tampograph right there, which don't particularly say or do anything, but it looks nice. And I really like this little red stripe back there. The paint and the plastic, the way it looks, just looks really nice. They picked a really good plastic color, and they picked a really good paint color to match with it. It's this really rich gunmetal gray. It's hard to see it on camera, but in person, it's just swanky and sweet looking. And you might have seen the Kyutama just fits back there. And now we've got the Wolf Zord, or not Wolf Zord, it's not a Power Ranger show. Just right there, it looks like we've kind of got like half a wolf face, so he's twisted around. And now we've got this sweet looking wolf. And then, of course, blank side. This is number 3, and exactly like the bowl, this fits in just like that. Just make sure this point is pointed downwards, like a little pee-pee ding-dong wing-a-ling-a-ling. And his mouth can open and close. The bull's mouth can open and close as well. He can rotate his head, lift it up and down. And I guess this could be articulation in some way, shape, or form. I really like how mean that looks. That looks friggin' bad. And he's also got another kind of weird paint discrepancy in that, I don't want to say discrepancy, but it's probably by design. And he's got this little yellow arrow right there, pointed outwards. So that's interesting, and he is continuing to look like a space wolf. Very much so does so. And I really like the spikes right down there. Again, with this paint color, it's really nice, and the fact that this is so well painted with the blue, it kind of distracts, because usually when you use a paint gray plastic, there's a little swirl. The blue is so vibrant, it really distracts from the swirl. So it's just a really nicely done thing. Nice job, guys. And that leaves us with Shishi. And he is number 1. This is the same exact Kyutama that you get with the Morpher for the most part. To get him, you're just going to twist him around. And now we've got the face of a lion and the heart of a champion. And this just pegs right there. Right there onto his chest. And the actual robot thing is pretty much brick. So you got these 2 little fins right here that stick out. That's honestly basically all it does. I mean, you could consider this articulation, but it's not. And his mouth can technically open and close a wee bit, but he's a bit like Voltron, where if you pull it down, you'll start revealing his face. So all they give you is this much mouth articulation. And we can also pretty blatantly see that he is just arms and thighs and legs, and he's going to become most of the robot. So to get him into his robot mode, essentially what we're going to do is take these little fin guys, fold those around, take his arms, fold those around, so now we've got all the Kyutama station port docker thingies facing forwards, and then we're going to raise the camera and continue. So, Kajiki goes in right here. You want to make sure this yellow stripe is facing forward. Chameleon goes right here. And actually, there's a bit of transformation. We're going to pull this down, and we're going to rotate this around. That goes right there. The Wolf Zord forms just like that. It pegs back right there into his leg. And the interesting thing is, it's the Kyutamas that are getting locked into place, not so much the Zords, or the mecha. I can't get Zords out of my head, sorry guys. And fold his head up, and we can kind of adjust his horns. And last but not least, we're going to rotate his head around, and pull his mouth down. And there we have KyrenOh in his final KyrenOh mode. And actually, I really like the way this looks. It's not the biggest Zord, and it's not like the most awe-inspiring Zord when you first look at it, because it is... I was kind of disappointed with its size when I first saw it. I was like, that's it? But when you do a size comparison next to Kyuranger, it's really not that much smaller. The shoulders are basically at the same level. The Kyuranger's head sits just a wee bit higher. But all in all, it's really not that bad, and it is for the most part, a brick. So for articulation, you can move his hands, and I guess you can kind of make his head look left and right, but that doesn't even work, so don't even listen to me. That was stupid for even saying. Now, the one thing that this has that Kyuranger doesn't have are lights. Built it in and integrated into the Zord, and also got sounds, but Kyuranger had sounds. And to get them, to access them, there's going to be a battery pack right here that takes 3 AAA batteries, and an on and off switch right back there, right under his knee. And to turn it on, we get something kind of special. When I find it, I'll find it. Chill out, guys. There. Alright, and it'll read Shishi Voyager, and it doesn't matter which ones are in there. Rotate this. It doesn't matter which ones are in there. It'll say Shishi for all of them, even if you have, like, Chameleon in there or whatnot. And now we can access the lights and sound. So there's a couple different modes. So if you just push it and hold it once, it'll put you in the KyrenOh mode. KyrenOh! And if now it'll cycle through a series of sounds. And actually, I'm going to turn off the lights real quick so you can get a better look at the action. And it's kind of him stomping around like a robot. Super Galaxy. And it's just going to cycle through those. So really fun with those sounds, and then we're going to push and hold this button one more time. And now it's kind of like a little game, where whichever one you stop on, it'll kind of highlight that one. So if we stop on this one, we stopped on green, I'm hoping. Yeah. So it'll kind of acknowledge that that's the one you stopped on. I don't know what the purpose is of this. It's kind of random, but it's there. And then lastly, when it says Shishi, this is kind of the core, the base mode, and you can just get a couple more generic sounds out of it. The docking sound. And it's just gonna cycle through those sounds. And that's it for lights and sounds. That's taking a look at the robot mode. Just real quick, I want to highlight that I really like the paint on this guy. I think it's kind of weird that there's only one red stripe right there, but not right there. It's kind of odd, and it's a different color. Not sure what the purpose of that is, but this chest piece, man. This gold that circles the chest piece is so nice. It's got this real nice, like, glittery gold finish to it, and it makes you feel like whatever you're putting in his chest is pretty dang important. And that I really do like. Now, lastly, I mentioned this is kind of like a Scramble City combiner, so you can, if you wanted to, you can actually switch the arms and legs, and you can rotate. You can have this one on this arm, and this one on this leg, or this one on that arm, and that one on that arm, and that one on that leg, and this one on that leg. But he's just stuck. He doesn't do anything. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're just going to rip his arms off and turn them into legs. So to turn Chameleon into leg, we're just going to pull his little head up and rotate his little Kyutama. And this one, we're actually just going to rotate his Kyutama, and then his little foot right there is going to lock into place. Then to turn these guys into arms, what you want to do, actually just lower his head and then turn it to the side. And do the same thing on this one, lower his head and turn it to the side. And now we can start locking these babies into place. So we're going to kind of scramble it up, like I mentioned, Scramble City Combiner. Now he's standing up there. And now the wolf, it's a little bit harder to get the legs into arm. but you can definitely do it. Just like that. So, my friends, the moral of the story is, don't skip leg day. Just don't. Look, this is what happens. Anyway, that does it for this review of KyrenOh, the newest mecha. I like it a lot. There's one glaring flaw to this. There is no weapon. Where is his sword? Apart from that, I actually really like this. I find it unique enough to, even if you're not following Super Sentai, definitely pick it up. I love the Scramble City. I love the randomness. I think that adds a whole new level of playability to it and fun. The lights and sounds, you know, they work no matter which position you have them in. So if you wanted them to do all the fun things that KyrenOh does, you definitely can. And all in all, he's just a fun standalone Zord, just to try out by himself. It's a really good taste into the Kyuranger line. So for that alone, Megazord fans, it's worth picking up. Anyway, that does it for this video, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, and hit subscribe, leave a like, do all that fun stuff. It really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think of KyrenOh. Is it your favorite mecha? Is it better than the Ninja Steel Megazord? Is it better than Shurikenjin? Let me know in the comments below. I really love to hear your feedback. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I've got more Kyuranger videos in the works, and I can't wait to show them to you. Thumbs up. I'll see you all in the next video.